Actor Joe Pantoliano, or as most of us know him, Joey Pants, is a scene stealer who has appeared in more than 100 films and TV shows, from The Matrix to The Goonies, but he is probably best known for playing Ralphie on The Sopranos. He grew up in Hoboken, and he showed me the neighborhood where it all began.
This is one of the oldest social clubs in Hoboken. How are you guys? How long? When did you start?
When we started?
Yeah.
Oh, the club is over 50 years. You lived in Hoboken all your life?
Until I was 16. I was born in 51 and I lived here.
Okay.
I lived here until
You went
60.
To school,
I went to Demarest. I went to number 8 school.
In those days, Hoboken was a working class, hard knock city.
Right here, I got held up on Halloween. This kid Jamesy used to shake us down, and I put together a group of cousins, and I said, now look, if this kid comes to take our candy this year, you don't run away. We stick together. We band together. We can take them together.
The streets could be mean, but Pantoliano says life at home wasn't much easier.
I came from an Italian family, which was, don't ask for too much because you'll get let down. And you know, we don't want you to break your heart, so don't ask for too much. Hurry up and eat now. Go get the food now because there won't be enough for everybody. I lived on 2nd and Park Avenue, then 2nd and Monroe, then 7th and Adam. You know, we grew up, the telephone was always ringing. They wanted their couches back, they wanted their furniture back, they wanted the refrigerator back, everything we bought on time. And it was so bad that everything had like parking meters attached to it. So if you wanted to watch TV, you had to put a quarter in, and for a quarter you got an hour. And then when the time went out, the juice ran out. You know, our refrigerator worked that way.
Could you trust anybody growing up? Could you trust your family?
Not at all, not at all, no. We had a little grocery store, and for 3 months we couldn't figure out why we were losing $8 a day. The register, we were short $8 a day. That's because none of us got paid. So I was stealing $2, my sister was stealing $2, my mother was stealing $2, and Flory was stealing $2.
You were all stealing from each other.
I think it was last year or the year before, my daughter Daniela, Nancy, they went to visit my wife Nancy's family in Florida. And Daniela had the room downstairs, and it was off the laundry room, and I went through her room to get to the laundry, and I noticed on her bureau next to the bed was a pile of money, about $30 or $40 in cash, just laying there. And I looked at it and I started to cry because I couldn't believe that I had in my house, in our house, that my daughter had that kind of trust, that she trusted her family that much, that I had done at least that one good thing, because couldn't do that in my house. We had to hide everything.
In his new memoir, Asylum, Pantoliano writes about his family, including his stepfather, Florio Isabella, Flory, a mobster who was in and out of prison.
We knew that the FBI was bugging our phones. They were tapping our phones. And my mother got into a bad habit. She thought that if you whispered, the FBI couldn't hear you. And years later, when I got my first big job, was From Here to Eternity, which is the remake of the 1953 classic. So as started doing the advanced press for the TV show, my mother called me up and she's whispering and she said, "Joey," and I go, "What?" She goes, "Somebody from the New York Times called me up. They want to talk to me about you." And I said, "Why?" She said, "From over there to the eternity." And I said, "What did you say?" She says, "I didn't tell them nothing. I told them that you was dead to me and I ain't seen you in 3 years and to stop calling."
This is your mother.
I said, "No, Ma, you could talk to them. They're doing a story on me." Well, they called my Aunt Rosie. And so when the story came out, my mother was so pissed off that they talked to my Aunt Rosie and not to her, because she thought she was protecting her son. Did you know my father Monk?
I know all the Pantoliano. He used to work.
Standard Brands. And Popeye?
Popeye, I know them all. I know that.
Hey, Leo.
How are you, Joe?
They used to live down on the Grand Street.
He's
right?
the only Mufi I don't get along with.
Oh,
Right there.
Is this the one enemy we've met today? This is
It's
the
my
one
enemy. You know why?
No,
I got the best of mozzarella, and he goes to Fiore, and he knows that. He
Why are
knows
you
that.
doing that?
Because Fiore's got the best mozzarella.
No. Fiore doesn't even qualify. Okay? And you know that.
When did you know you were going to become an actor?
You know, I think it was 12 years old, 10 years old, like that.
Yeah.
I remember making a conscious decision that that's what I was going to do.
But you didn't tell anybody, or did you?
I didn't tell anybody for a long time.
Yeah.
Flory, I told Flory. When I did the high school play, it was a senior class play, and I couldn't read. I had not read a book. I was a senior in high school, and I had not read a book.
It wouldn't be until after years of acting
Want a drink?
that Pantoliano was diagnosed with dyslexia.
My sister Marianne read this play to me up the down staircase, and I memorized it and then pretended that I was reading from the page. And I did that for a long time after.
But you didn't know you were dyslexic. You just thought you couldn't read. Teachers thought you didn't care.
You know, I was only going to school so I wouldn't have to deal with my mother or go to work. You know, anything to get to stay out of that house. And it's a miracle. It's a miracle that I had a goal in mind, that I was able to accomplish this goal. I got to do what I wanted to do. I got to make a living at what I wanted to do. That's stunning.